here's the Ramsey baby steps in a nutshell. Baby step number 1, $1,000 starter emergency fund. So this is just a little buffer between you and life. And we found that 4 in 10 people have $0 in savings. And so this is a huge milestone just to have $1,000 in the bank for most Americans. Once you have that $1,000, you move on to baby step 2, and you do these with focused intensity in order. Baby step 2, pay off all consumer debt using the debt snowball method.
Okay, what's the snowball method?
So the snowball method means we are looking at all the balances and ignoring the interest rate. I know, Graham, just go with me.
Okay.
Go with me. Defy logic.
I'm really trying here.
Delete the interest rates out of your head. Look at the balances. Pay all minimum payments on all of those balances except for the smallest one. And with that smallest one, we are attacking it with a vengeance. Everything you can sell, side jobs, any margin you can create by slashing expenses, we throw onto that smallest debt. And what does that do? Well, it speeds up the process. And so that debt's knocked out. We free up a payment. So now we can apply all the margin we had plus that payment that got freed up towards the next debt. And so you can see the snowball gets more snow as it rolls down the hill. Once we have all of our debt paid off, all consumer debt, we have $1,000 in the bank saved. Now we go back and fully fund that emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of expenses.
Okay.
Not income, but expenses. So bare bones expenses. What would it take if you guys lost all of your income and you had to survive for 3 to 6 months? And so that part, on average, takes our folks about 6 months to do.
Okay, I like that.
So all in on this plan, from having a pile of debt to being debt-free with money in the bank to cover emergencies, we're talking 2.5 years, which for most people sounds like a long time.
It does, yeah.
Like if you're 24 years old, you're going, I'm going to be a grown adult by then.
27.
But 2.5 years is going to be here whether you like it or not. So the question is, do you want to remain broke because you thought you were a financial genius, or do you want to have no payments in the world with a pile of money to cover you? And so it's a freeing thing when you get to that point.
And then what's after that?
So then we can start talking about investing. Baby step 4 is 15% of your household income into retirement accounts.
Have you found that 15 is like the magic number? Why not 20? Because I feel like 15, I think if you say 15% of your income, I think the average retirement is like 45 years, is how much it takes you to be able to replace your income.
Yeah, we found, there's been different numbers. Some people say, like, hey, if you're not doing 20% at least with inflation and everything going on, like, you're not going to be able to retire. But what we found is the reason 15% is a sweet spot is because it allows you to have some margin to do baby steps 5 and 6, which is college and early mortgage payoff. Because if you do 20%, there's not a lot of room left to help your kid go to college debt-free if they choose to do so. Not a lot of room left to pay off the mortgage early, which then frees you up later in life.
Sure. Okay.
So that's where we go, hey, 15% into, we say match beats Roth beats traditional. So that's the investing strategy in a nutshell. No secrets here. You want to get that match first because that's 100% return on your investment. Then move on to Roth because we love the tax-free growth for most people. If you're younger, Roth is going to be a better option for the long term. And then you can move on to traditional. So 5 would be saving for college. And that varies, again, because some people don't go to college. Some people might be late for them, but put money away in a 529 plan, for example, because college is getting more expensive. And so if your kid does choose to go to college and that's the right path for them, it's hard for a kid at 18 to have $100,000 saved. And so to have a parent get ahead of that, and we've done a whole documentary on this called Borrowed Future that's free on YouTube. And I hosted a podcast series with the same name, and we dug into this crisis about, like, how did we get here? The entire student loan industry is a giant scam, and they decided they can just raise prices because people are willing to take out debt to pay for it. And so the whole thing got real muddy real quick, and here we are, $1.7 trillion in student loan debt with 45 million
What was
borrowers.
the conclusion on that? Why is college so expensive, and why are the costs going up so much?
It started with a lot of good intentions from the government to kind of get in bed with the student loan companies and go, like, we should make this federally backed.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it became like, this is a money pumping machine for Sally Mae. And so if they raise the prices, people go, well, okay, we'll just take out more student loan debt. And the government's backing this.
Yeah.
This is a good idea. And so that became a cycle where the student loan companies are making record profits every year. The students, as you guys know, like, the wages didn't go up 500%. And so they're leaving, still making 40, 50 grand, but now they have $200,000 of student loan debt. And what did we tell our kids growing up? Get good grades, get good SAT scores so you can go to the college of your dreams, regardless of what it costs. And so that all of a sudden you have 45 million people fall into this trap of student loan debt, which I think we could all argue is not the greatest form of debt as far as ROI. Some people
Agreed.
It's great. They'll if you're going to be a doctor and you're going to go make $300,000-$400,000, there's some pretty clear math you could do to say like there's ROI on this. But going and getting like a liberal studies degree and going like, well, I was told a degree's the path. I mean, you guys know that degrees do not equal success.
Mm-mm.
And as we go further in time, that is more and more true. And so that's a huge part of saving for college. And then baby step 6 is paying off the mortgage early. Again, there's no parameters on this. We found that people who follow our plan end up paying off their mortgage in about 7 years. And the average millionaire from our study pays it off in about 10 years. And baby step 7, which we didn't cover, which is build wealth and give. And so that give part is important because you guys have heard Dave say, live like no one else so later you can live and give like no one else. Mm-hmm. And he has amazing stories of outrageous generosity and spontaneous generosity. And it's the stuff on TikTok that makes us cry. Right? When we watch these videos of someone giving a stranger or a waitress $1,000 and they're in tears, there's something just beautiful about giving back. It's the reason Mr. Beast is so successful. We're all inspired by the way he has taken generosity and created amazing content out of it. And so I think it's just important for anyone watching to have a deeper why. Like making money is great. Being wise with money is awesome. But without the why behind it, you just get to a point where you hit a wall and you're like, what is this all for, man? There's got to be more than just like the next spread, the next thing, the next stock. And so that's partially why it's given me such peace, is because I'm not messing with all that stuff. I'm just going, what's right for my family? What can I do for my community? What can I do to leave an impact and leave a legacy? Because on my gravestone, it's not going to be like George Camel, net worth $24 million.
That would be on mine though.
That Graham for sure is going to have that. Like I want it to be about more than that. And so that's just changed the way I handle money. And it's freed me from going like, well, I really need to get to this net worth. Instead, it's like, hey, what's our goal for the next 1 year when it comes to generosity and spending? Because there's only 3 things you can do with money: give it, save it, and spend it. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, on the simplest terms. And so me and my wife, we just set goals in all of those areas. How do we want to give this year? What are the spending goals we have this year? That might be vacations and upgrading the car or whatever. And they're saving. How do we want to invest for the future? And that has freed me to just not get so in my head about what could be and what's the next thing and what is this person doing. Instead, you just run your own race. And there's such beauty to not caring about what other people think and shutting down the comparison mode to where you go like, what's that guy doing? And how's that creator doing? It has just freed me emotionally because I'm a high anxiety person naturally. So my goal is just to reduce all of the anxiety I can in my life. And part of that is living with no debt. Part of that is giving generously because I find that it's hard to have a lot of anxiety when you are giving.